This is how we move the patient in and out through here.
Pat Jeffery is a nurse who has been with STARS almost from the very beginning.
The first one was white, and it had a big lion's decal on the side. And so we used that for quite a while as white. And then there's quite a story with the pilots about how it actually became red. Apparently, I think the end point was they got a killer deal on red aviation paint, and they took advantage of it, and you really don't see red helicopters in the air. Although we like to tell the Saskatchewan base that it's in Stampeder colors, and then they're always teasing us that they want to paint it green. So the back of this aircraft, when I started, oh my God, like 26 years ago, it was pretty much empty. There was a stretcher and the seats, but none of this existed. The roof mounts didn't. I mean, you have to remember that's almost 30 years ago. It was cutting edge medicine at that time. It's got a small interior, and I can physically touch everything in my world that I'm responsible for. And I always say the ideal flight nurse would be 4 feet tall and have arms 6 feet long. That would be perfect. I'm right next to the patient, and it also gives you a real opportunity to, sometimes you hold their hands because they're scared. I mean, knowing that you're going to be riding in this aircraft means that you're probably having the worst day of your life. And they're scared, and sometimes it's the little things that people remember. It's not, they don't come back and say, oh, I'm so happy that you shocked me and got my heart going, or you straightened out my leg so it was the same length as the other one. They'll say, I don't remember much, but I can remember somebody held my hand. And it's a comfort. It's the little things that people remember in a disaster.
Pat has spent more than half her life flying with STARS. Her husband even proposed to her on a STARS helicopter.
My boyfriend at the time, he's a pilot here. We stopped at Foothills, and he said, would you like to ride up front with me? And I thought, oh yeah, that's kind of neat. We don't get to do that very often. And just as we're flying back, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a little box with a big blue ribbon on it and handed it to me, and there was this engagement ring. And I says, well, you know, you have to make it official, so he had to say, will you marry me? And I think the co-pilot he was with was kind of ticked off. He got kicked in the back, but then when he found out why, it was pretty exciting. And then we had another trip that night, and I was just so excited. I was showing everybody my ring.
911, where's your emergency?
On one mission, after she had already been dispatched, Pat learned that she was actually flying to rescue her own brother. This was a first for STARS.
The date is, it's forever in my memory. It's January 2nd, 2010, about 2:30 in the afternoon. But, I mean, it's just one of those dates you'll never forget. My little brother had died unexpectedly on the 4th of November, and that was a huge shock to our family. And then our mother died on the 17th of December, and in fact, we couldn't even, it was very difficult for us to even tell her that Brian had died. We had to wait a day because we were just so distraught. And she was a very vibrant farm woman. She was out farming till the bitter end, and then for Wayne, I mean, it was just like my family was getting smaller and smaller. And I remember meeting with Wayne on January 1st, and I was telling him, I says, you know, our family's gone through a lot. His son had passed away from cancer a year or so earlier, and he'd been through losing a brother, a mother, and a son. And I says, you know, 2010 is going to be a better year for us. And then the very next day, this happened. And I, honest to God, I was like, this can't be happening. Like, this can't be happening. I kept thinking it couldn't get any worse. And I was wrong. I was like, you know something? I'm okay to go on this trip. It's like, you know, if at least that way I'll know that everything that could have been done for him was done. And if he still passed away from that point, at least in my own heart, I would know that everything had been done. It was a surreal moment. We had got Wayne out of the bedroom, and he was actually lying on the living room rug, and we were putting a breathing tube in. And I remember I just kind of paused and looked up, and my flight helmet was sitting on Wayne's couch. And everything just kind of stopped. I'm looking at this helmet, and I'm going, Pat, your helmet should never be on Wayne's couch. It should be on a stranger's couch, or it should be in my locker, but it shouldn't be right there. And then that was like kind of like this little split-second thing. Okay, you have to get back to reality now. And so then I went right back and finished it. But it was just this weird fragment of time, like this is not where I should be. We got him to Foothills Hospital, and yeah, I just broke down and cried, like, this can't be happening. Like, how much worse can this be? I was just sitting here 2 months ago.
Thanks to STAR's quick action, Pat's brother Wayne survived his medical emergency.
Every time I drive to the farm now, I drive past the lawn where the helicopter sat down, and I can still see it sitting there. You know, I don't wish it on anyone. I know exactly what family members feel like, and I know exactly when I was told that I probably couldn't come back on the flight. I know what family members feel like when I have to go up to them and say, hon, you can't come with us. And I know how devastating that would be. And so, I mean, I thought it was pretty good before that, but now I actually stand and look the mother in the eye and say, you can't come with us even though I'm flying your son, but I'll treat him like he's my own. And I mean it, because I've been there.